Hey everyone, Adwin's here with another unit review. This time, we've got a pleasant surprise during Arc 2 in the form of Mikage Yakumo, younger sister of none other than our blessed Mitama. Hair buns. God, seriously, I love everything about her design. Love her dress, love her katar, and the ever cute Tehepero. Anyway, she's a dark support type with 3 Axel disc. Boy, I wonder what she supports. Here's a hint. Her personal is an Axel draw. With a 4-turn cooldown? Holy fuck, that's fast. Every other Axel draw Memoria in the game has a 13-turn cooldown at best, essentially once per battle. However, with Magia being more and more relevant post-Arc 2, these personals are deemed to be more than playable. So imagine that, but with multiple potential uses per battle. That's 2 uses in Kimochi. That's insane. Probably usable in mirrors too? I don't know. If that wasn't enough RAM for you, how about 32.5 MP on Connect? She just gives so much MP. Oh, and she charms too, because who would want to hurt little Mii-chan in her hair buns? Moving on, her Magia is mainly there to buff, as it gives both attack and damage bonuses. The Doppel adds burn to this, but that's not really relevant. That multiplier is also pretty huge at over 1000%. Her release coincides with a game-wide buff to all Magia that don't hit all tiles at once. Not only does this include single target ones, it also includes Magia that choose random targets or target a line. For her Spirit enhancement, she gets even more ramp, with Fast Mana which gives her 10% MP on the start of a fight, Axel MP plus 15%, and a 40% boost to MP gained after 100. She even has a chance to skill quick, making her personal recover even faster as if it needed to. She also has Astral Shield, which reduces damage from Axel discs and Magia. Her active reduces defense, and then a bonus debuff versus dark damage. You pop this off when you're about to pull off a Magia or some other major burst of dark damage, such as Kimochi. Kimochi tend to cater to most recent units, and it seems Mikage was made for Kimochi with her focus on MP acceleration. This debuff is really just icing on the cake. Well, we should be glad she's permanent. Other than her clear role in Kimochi, this acceleration is wonderful for any Magia team, and other teams can at least enjoy the buffs from her Magia if you can get it consistently. It could even be worth sticking on a Blast team for challenging fights? I don't know, probably not. Would be fun to try and actually use a Blast Girl's Magia though. She's a great pickup for your Magia or Kimochi builds, so going for her now is not the worst idea. But because she's a perm, don't go too crazy. Yes, I know she's too cute to resist, but just try. And since I'm talking about the Yakumo, I'm going to take this opportunity to also bring up the other coordinators, a void trio known as Pure Care. Livia is another support type, who seems to focus on ailments. Her Connect grants the target Addict Killer, which is damage up versus ailments, and guaranteed curse on attack. Fitting, considering she's Mitama's mentor, and also the thing that makes coordinators special. I shouldn't spoil that though. Unlike other units that like ailments, her Magia doesn't inflict anything, but it at least reduces resistance to them, plus an additional defense debuff to make room for other Addict Killers to enforce their game plan. Speaking of Addict Killer, Livia herself gets this on her Spirit enhancement, as well as a 20% curse edge. Pretty good if you ask me. Her active also gives a chance to curse, though it not being guaranteed kinda makes it unreliable. The Death Down is pretty worth using though, I definitely wouldn't count it out. Livia is definitely meant to be on an ailment team, though she prefers to play the long game, whittling down your opponents first, instead of piling on the ailments. In my opinion though, I'd rather use Alina, either of them. If you want to focus on ailments, you should set them up as fast as possible. Livia needs to get to Magia in order to reduce resistance, but Holy Alina can do that with her active. She can barely inflict statuses on her own, but both Alinas have multiple on their Connect. I don't know, I'm probably underestimating her, but I'm having trouble justifying using her over Alina, and her secondary role as a debuffer doesn't do enough to make up for it. Yozuru is a Blast Gorilla with fairly decent attack post SE. 11k is kinda on the lower end of high, if that makes sense. Don't you worry though, because she only gets better from here. Her Connect removes ailments, whatever, but the real kicker is her Chase. Remember how Ren's Connect had Chase, and how you had to do some mental gymnastics in order to make it work in your favor, especially if you wanted a Puella? Well, Yozu makes it all easier for you, because she gives herself Chase instead of the target. This will relieve many headaches in deciding your disc order, since you won't have to think about which disc will not give you Chase, cause they all will. Free incidental damage is not bad. Her Magia is single target, so it got that beefy buff. It's not insignificant with her attack, but otherwise it's unremarkable because she's a blast gorilla. You stun the target, I guess. Notable SE nodes include Crit Up, Parry and Aiming Adept, 2 Blast Adepts, Addict Killer, and Poison Edge. The latter two aren't the most important, but it's more free damage. Her active is pretty straightforward, but very good considering her type of character. In fact, straightforward is exactly what I'd call her role. She just deals fucking damage. Even her personal just adds more damage. What else do you want? I mean, I want her to be my prince. God, she's so handsome. Lastly for today is Sudachi, a sweet vampire girl who is definitely a tanky tank. Post SE, she has the second highest defense behind Kokoro, but the highest HP, and the bulk is furthered by her void typing. Her connect gives damage cut, sure. Can protect a squishy in mirrors who would be targeted by the AI. Her Magia though is pretty interesting. First, it gives her provoke. At first glance, it's weird that a tank like her has provoke locked to Magia, and I'll talk about that later, but at least you can provide provoke through other means like Memoria. It deals garbage damage, but it gives a buffet of buffs. The Axel buff in particular is good because it makes it easier to build up another Magia or even Doppel. Speaking of, the Doppel buffs are better than the Magia ones in pure numbers, but it's usually better to fire off support Magia ASAP, instead of waiting on Doppel to maximize the uptime of the effects, even if they're weaker overall. Usually, I'm pretty wary of units like this, where their main goal is to be supportive, but they can't even perform that role until they get Magia. Sudachi is a different case though, because of her Spirit enhancement. Endor Adept gives her bonus MP when she's damaged. With both activated, that's 8 MP per hit. 3 Morale Adept nodes add up to 27.5% MP acceleration through other means, and her Fast Mana node gives her 25 right off the bat. It won't be hard to get her to that first Magia at all, to say nothing of a focused Magia team. This gives Sudachi an interesting role as a Magia tank, with her acceleration allowing her to see play in mirrors, while not being totally broken due to her damage output being pretty bad. But that's what the rest of the team is for. If it isn't clear, the coordinators as a whole are pretty good and interesting. Livia is probably the weakest of these, because Mitama at least has become a better Magia support thanks to her Spirit enhancement. The Magia buff is also pretty significant, though mostly for single Magia in my opinion, and it's yet another sign that the devs are looking to balance the game. They made Charge good, now it's single Magia's turn. It's really good, but if you ask me, the game ain't balanced until I can bring fucking Konomi into mirrors and succeed. To celebrate the buff, they're offering a bag that gives you a selection ticket for a free 4-star of your choice from the girls who had their Magia buff. There are actually 2 available, one for 200 paid gems and 300 for regular ones. If you get both, you unfortunately can't choose the same girl twice to get a free 2 slot. But at least get the one with free stones. Come on, it's a guaranteed 4-star. Come on! As far as my recommendations for whom to choose, Yozuru is available in this list. But other really good pickups include Ao and Karen, who are both good Magia supports, Chiharu, a good tank that can also bind, Ryoko, a good attacker with stun on her active, and I think Rena's still good? Momoko's also there for your Chargius fans. Well, that was quite a long one, but hopefully you got what I wanted to give you in this video, and I'll see you next time! Happy Thanksgiving, everyone!